18-year-old lifeguard Palmer Malarkey had become trapped underwater when his arm was caught in a pool drain. When his friend and fellow lifeguard B.J. Heinrichs dove in to help, he was unable to free Palmer.
I was frantic. I ran for the phone.
911 emergency?
Yes, this is Missy on a call.
Missy's call came into the County Communications Center at 1:49 p.m.
Okay, Misty, we're dispatching for an ambulance now.
Station 800 ambulance and QRT. A male subject trapped in the pool underwater for approximately 2 minutes. Dispatch quick.
I started panicking and pulled another time, came to the surface, and I'm gasping for air. And then somebody goes, turn off the pumps. I didn't know if that was going to work or not. It was just like, just turn off the whole system.
I didn't know if he was still alive. And I'm like, he has to breathe. He has no air. So I gave him the rest of the breath that I had in me. EJ had already turned off the pump. I guess the pump had not stopped pulling because he still couldn't free him.
He wasn't moving. There was no bubbles. There was nothing.
Off-duty paramedic John Fowler was at home, only 4 blocks away, when he heard the ambulance dispatched.
His arm seemed to be stuck, but it immediately came free, and we proceeded to the surface. In the back of my mind, I was afraid that this person was dead, and there was very little we could do for it.
You guys, help get him up! Is he okay? Come on! You guys, get him up! Put him over! Get him up! Turn him over!
Palmer had been trapped underwater for nearly 6 minutes.
I've never seen something like that before. There's nothing there. It just seemed lifeless. I started giving him an abdominal thrust to the stomach, trying to get some of the water out of there. And then we started CPR. Come on!
Fire Chief Darrell Churchill also responded from his house, less than a mile away from the pool.
In about the first minute that we had Palmer out of the pool, he did regain a spontaneous pulse.
Got a good pulse. Come on, Palmer.
Even though he was breathing and had a pulse at this point, there was still a lot of concern that this individual could actually proceed to go downhill and actually end up dying again. That was our major reason behind going with the helicopter transport.
They took him away in the ambulance, and I was just thinking, what's supposed to happen from here?
He started to go into a seizure. This young man's already been without oxygen for the 6 to 7 minutes, and now he's biting the one clear airway that we have going to him. Having seen a lot of life and death situations, trying not to get real personally caught up in it. But it was a real personal thing for most of the people involved.
Palmer was loaded into the chopper and placed in the care of Chief Flight Nurse Julie Mullen.
Stop now, Julie. Okay. Yes, sir. We are en route to the hospital this time. We should be there in about 5 minutes.
Palmer, it's okay. Don't fight it. Don't fight it.
Palmer's condition continued to deteriorate.
The only thing I can think of is what more can we do in this helicopter for him. There is a medication that physicians often use for people with brain injuries. Frequently it is not used in the near-drowning patients. I knew I should probably consider this, and I called Dr. Bell at Medical Control.
We're bringing you an 18-year-old male, apparently victim of a near-drowning accident, fresh water. I'm seeing signs of some brain swelling. I'd like to ask Dr. Bell for permission to administer mannitol.
Yeah, Julie, give 100 of mannitol IV and call me back if there's a change. If the brain swells, it's got no place to swell to. and that puts pressure within the brain, which further injures it. And we gave him mannitol to cause the brain swelling to diminish.
Dr. John Bell was on duty at the emergency room of St. Charles Medical Center.
The first thing we did was paralyze him. We gave him a drug that intravenously that paralyzed him completely. Frothy pulmonary edema fluid coming out, and that's all I know at this point. He was consuming more oxygen than he really needed to be. We wanted to quiet him down.
Palmer was still in a coma when Mrs. Famille got to the hospital.
I knew I probably wouldn't be able to see him, but I went anyways. A nurse came out to talk to me, and she said that Palmer had regained consciousness. He couldn't talk, but he was making eye contact with people, and they didn't see any signs of brain damage yet. So that was definitely the happiest moment.
We walk in the door, and Palmer's laying down, and he looks up at me, and he smiles. And it was just like, wow, Palmer, you're there.
When I first came out of it, the priest was talking to me, and he asked me if I had any brain damage. So I turned to the nurse and asked her if I had any brain damage because I wasn't quite sure, and she didn't know. She said, I don't know. Well, I don't think I do, so took care of that question.
It has been almost a year since the accident.
What we found out as a family is that you should not take life for granted because it can change in seconds, and you don't have it. Life is a very precious thing. And you don't know how precious until you almost lose it.
I think children are meant to cope with our death, and that's just a natural thing in life. And I don't know how I ever would have coped if Palmer would have died.
I'm very glad to be alive because life is amazing. This earth is amazing, and life is full of magic. I was given the gift of life, which is magic.
Next,
there's potential for violence and danger every day.